Are you in charge of your house or is your house in charge of you? Well, today we are on location and we're going to find out a lot of things about right sizing and picking the right home, picking the right time. This is a Jennifer Gale Real Estate Team channel on YouTube. Like and subscribe, link in the description. Ruby, we are here today on location. First time ever the YouTube podcast is on location. Your idea.
Yeah, I was really excited to suggest that we come out to 409 Soam Street. This is a listing that we have, and the reason, well, a couple of reasons why I wanted to shoot on site. It's fun, it's creative.
Yep.
Creative, and also we're talking about right sizing today. And some people might consider it an out of the box solution, but the idea of a home with an in-law suite is a consideration. Having your parents live in the general vicinity can be a really great help, and it can be a great thing for families. So this home has a fantastic in-law suite with a separate walkout here. So if you're curious about this home, reach out.
Yeah, look at that plug. 409 Soam Street, Woodstock. Awesome house. So it's not all about like selling a big, huge house and moving into a retirement home.
No,
there's like plenty of different options for that.
No, there's, and that's what's really important, I think, when as we start to get into the discussion of right sizing, is understanding what options are out there, and creating a plan around that.
Yeah. So I think, what I just said there, a lot of people just have that vision of that's what it is, and I think that's probably an obstacle with a lot of people to make the move, because they think the only next move is possibly like an old age home or retirement home. And they're like, my parents, for instance, were 66, 7 years old and perfectly capable of looking after a house, but they wanted to travel.
Yeah.
So they moved to a condo, right? That was a right size move for them. Like they weren't going to go to a retirement home. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Still fit people, right?
I think you're right. I think that is a hindrance, and that's what stops a lot of people. It's just that mindset that my next move has to be into a home where I have to admit that I have to be in an old age home, and I'm not ready for that. But in your golden years, they can be some of the the most fantastic years of your life. And if you're in a home that you have to spend your Saturdays at home mowing the lawn, or you have to hire people.
I don't even like doing that, and I'm
right,
just 50-ish.
The financial burden of having to hire people to do maintenance if you no longer can or don't want to, or whatever, that will hold you back. And really, you want the golden years of your life to be the golden years of your life. So that's when it's time to start thinking about those things.
So that brings us to like a first question here. So we get a call, and sometimes it's from a kid, like that's speaking for their parents, or it's the parents that call. They're apprehensive, they're nervous, they're overwhelmed. How do we go about talking to them and putting their mind at ease that like this is going to be okay, and it's not necessarily a sentence to get into a retirement home, but it's just a different move to a different location? How do we frame that so we can put their mind at ease?
Well, again, rather than talking about downsizing, I think that's probably one of the more important things. And I love that the Jennifer Gale Team, we refer to it as right sizing, because it's not about giving something up. There are a lot of memories and tied to the family home, so there is an emotional weight there. But if we reframe the conversation, so we're not talking about what we're giving up, but we're looking at what we're gaining. We're gaining perhaps financial freedom, less maintenance, more mobility, maybe a better community, all of that. Let's focus on that.
So we're having the conversation. What are we've maybe answered some of these peppered throughout the conversation so far, but what are some mistakes that either the actual downsizers, right sizers can make, or maybe their families? What are some pitfalls that people fall into when that process starts?
I think the biggest mistake probably is waiting too long. Independence is huge and important, but tied with independence sometimes is that stubbornness.
Yeah.
You want to maintain, you want to stay in the family home, you want your kids to be able to come home to the family home for Christmas. So waiting too long until there is perhaps an emergency or a medical need that causes you to have to make that decision very quickly, it removes the options that you have
Yeah.
and that your family has. So less options equals more stress. So creating a plan is really important. That doesn't mean action today or tomorrow. That means just having something, an idea of what that might look like for
Yeah.
you. And then another mistake I think that often the families make, and perhaps those working with the right sizer, is forgetting about the emotional behind the transition. So obviously, the financial aspect is very important. Having professionals to help and to walk you through that is very important, but also understanding that it is a journey. It is a very emotional journey, and it's not about giving something up, but also we do have to remember that there are memories, and this is a transition
Yeah.
that does carry a lot of emotional weight.
Yeah. Like, don't ride into that house saying,
Yeah.
we got to do this.
Yes.
You got to get out of here. These stairs are terrible. I'd see you got braces on your knees. Why would you still be in here? It's crazy. Like, you got to be,
Exactly.
and some people, I always go back to the story of a lady I had a couple of years ago. She was 76, and her house that she was living in was just a bungalow, a small little bungalow, but um, she'd had some hip surgery and just wasn't moving around, but it was a big lot. It was almost an acre.
Oh, beautiful.
And she'd had somebody cutting the lawn. So, like, actual outside maintenance, she was just contracting it out.
Yeah.
But she had lived in that house for 72 years and she was 76.
Oh my
So
God.
I always say,
That's
like,
incredible.
I give that example to people
Yeah.
that are emotional about leaving.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, have I got a story for you? I feel like
Mhm.
if she could leave, you
Mhm.
can leave. And I mean,
Mhm.
listen to me, it's hard, right? You've
Mhm.
had your kids there, you've had everything there, you have your Christmas dinners there. It's hard to leave. But if, to be, like, as Jen says, to be the doctor and not the nurse,
Mhm.
like, if there's hazards like stairs and it falling is a real concern and
Mhm.
injury, it's not all about the maintenance. It's sometimes real, like, legit safety issues with how that house is laid out and where stuff is. Like, is your laundry in the
Absolutely.
basement? Do you have to go
Absolutely.
down there every
Yeah.
time and do these stairs? And, like, I mean, my
And
knees hurt sometimes and I don't like going downstairs. Like, it's hard.
and in a situation where it's a senior that's living alone, that adds that extra weight as well,
Yeah.
because if there is an accident that happens at the home,
Yeah. You might not know.
exactly.
And I might
Yeah.
have kids in the city. The kids
Yeah.
might be in Toronto or
Mhm.
Vancouver or whatever. So, I mean, I guess we've touched on, my next question was, like, how do we balance the emotional versus professional,
Mhm.
functional? Like, let's think about this logically
Yeah.
and create a plan. I find the next question I'm going to put on you is, I think outside of the emotional attachment to the home, the just overwhelming amount of work and
Yes.
stuff
Yes.
required to do to move, right? So you might have somebody in Woodstock that lives on Light Street in a 2-story monster
Mhm.
of a century home with 50 years of stuff in the basement, the attic, the everything.
Well, and
Where
that's
do
the
you
thing
start,
too.
right? Where do you start? And I think people just get locked up saying, I just don't want to do all this, so I'm not
Well,
moving.
and you made my next point. I think that's a part of the waiting too long is the overwhelm that comes with it, right? Like, I mean, if we're talking about a family home, and your 40-year-old kids kindergarten stuff might be
Well, your
might
grown
be in
kids' stuff from their first home might be there that they didn't have.
there. That too,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
I've
The
been that
family
kid.
home often becomes
Yeah,
that, right? So so yeah, there's a lot of stuff to get through, and that's why it's really important to to start with a plan, to create a plan, because overwhelm causes anxiety. The idea of I have to get to this at some point is a recipe for anxiety.
Yeah.
And anxiety means procrastination, at least for me. I'm
everybody's the same.
yeah.
You just
So
like,
so just starting with a conversation, having a plan, and getting your people in place. I cannot stress this enough. In a situation where a big transition has to happen, understanding who your support people are going to be is incredibly important, because this is not a task that should be done alone or needs to be done
and
alone.
not necessarily family and kids.
Not necessarily
it's like professionals
family.
that do
professionals. So yeah, I mean, yes, your family, if your family is local and close and
wants to do
close knit and wants to help, but also professionals. Like obviously a realtor will have the Jennifer Gale team. I know we have a lot of support staff that we can connect you with. But like, so your real estate agent, your financial person, to understand what's going to happen after and how that's going to look, how your money is going to look after, having, perhaps a therapist and someone who is experienced with decluttering, not only decluttering and helping with the organization, but specifically in a right size.
Right. It's hard. I mean, we've been programmed to say that word like our whole lives.
So like there are people who are skilled in working through not just the physical stuff, but the emotional factor as well, and skilled in working with you through it. So finding those support people. And honestly, if you have questions, reach out to the Jennifer Gale team, because we've got a lot of great people.
We get you started on. So I mean, my parents are the age where I've had friends of theirs and just people that when I was younger are now older, and they call me because they know I sell real estate. And I think the thing they're looking for most is just a plan.
Yeah.
And a plan that they'll have to do some stuff, right? Like they'll have to call some people and whatever, but we can also do some stuff for them. Like we were talking before we were on camera here, had an example where I had an older couple moving out of a condo into a retirement home, and they had done really well to be in that condo they were for 20 years. That was their down. So that was like, we'll talk about that at the end, right? That was like a 3-step right sizing. Like they went from a 2-story to a condo when they were probably in their early 70s. And then they went from condo to retirement home in their 90s. But they're still pretty sharp.
Yeah.
And we had it all lined up that a company was going to come and do an auction and, sell some of their furniture. And last minute, they backed out. They couldn't do it. And we have a Jennifer Gale team trailer that showed up in Warren, and another guy came, we cleaned the place out for them. Right. And that was like invaluable to them. Right. So absolutely. What are you going to say to a 93-year-old who's got to clean her house out in a week? What's she going to do? Like, can't do anything. Well, so, you got to have people in your corner helping, and her kids weren't around, and that's just the way it went. But I think even as a younger person, the actual physical part of moving is overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely.
And getting that barrier to those people, knowing like we've got people that can help, we've got a plan, we're going to do this on this day, and I need you to do and phone this person on, like, even little things like canceling utilities. Like sometimes if like a spouse has died, but that spouse did all the stuff, right? Exactly. And now that spouse is left with canceling utilities and stuff they've never done. It just wasn't part of their gig. So we help them with that, right?
Yeah. And the thing about having a written plan is that, again, you've taken care of the overwhelm. Now you know when you're ready to start making the steps. You've got your plan. You've got step 1.
Yeah. So okay. So let's say we've done the hard thing. We've met with somebody. They've said, I want out. I can't handle this house anymore. What are some questions that we would ask them as far as where their next move would be most, really bad grammar in English, but most logical? That was terrible.
Where is their next most logical move? No, that makes sense to me.
So yeah, because not everybody, like my parents weren't ready
Yeah.
for the retirement
Yeah.
home. Some are, but some aren't. Like, what questions are we asking them lifestyle wise to pinpoint maybe the most logical step?
Yeah, and so that all comes out in conversation, and some questions I would ask, or some answers I would want to get through the conversation are, what does your community look like? Do you love pickleball? Do you need what's your social circle looking like? We've got some incredible oh my gosh, Southgate here in Woodstock is an incredible community, and I've actually met with a number of people who just love it there. So we're not going to move to Tilsonburg if my community, my center for socialism, oh my gosh, my social center is Southgate. So that's important. What
Like, do you travel?
Yeah. Do you travel? Transportation, is that going to be important? Do you like to use your vehicle, or do you want to be close to bus routes? Hospital proximity is important. And so a lot of things like that, but also one level living is kind of an assumption.
The standard
is kind of the standard, but that's going to be like, what might that look like? Is
it just
like
a smaller freehold house?
Exactly.
Or is it a condo?
Exactly. Like, are we, and like you mentioned before, a transition, it doesn't have to be all at once. In many cases, it's not all at once. So sometimes it's moving from a very large home to a smaller single detached or townhouse. Maybe you love to garden, so you want to have the flower gardens, so things like that. But there are also options like apartments. There's a lot of lovely apartments in Woodstock. There's a lot of apartment condos in Woodstock. So there are many options, and asking some questions to understand what your goals are will help to understand what options might be.
So I'd say the gist of it is 3 kind of places you can go. Like, are you going from big 2-story to just a smaller freehold little bungalow because you still like gardening, you still like cutting your grass, you're maybe only 65, but a young 65, but you still want to, you don't want the condo rules.
Yeah.
Or you can go to a condo, which is a little bit more limiting, but you can lock your door and just kind of leave. Or do you want to rent? Right? Renting is still, I would put that kind of in the retirement home, retirement village type thing. You're still kind of renting space there. You got to pay for it, but so it's just kind of lifestyle. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you traveling? Do you want to just be able to lock the door and leave, or do you still want to own a house with a garage and a shop and tinker and do that for another 15 years, and then you'll do the next step? All things. So we'll segue that into what are some options of where people can go. Like, let's use Woodstock, for example. Like, lots of brick bungalows. You probably don't need to go into length about that, but like, they'd be in the $500,000 to $600,000 range for a brick bungalow.
Lots of options here in Woodstock. Lots of bungalows. You've got your nice yards. Woodstock has a lot of homes that have lovely backyards.
Big trees. Good neighborhoods.
Mature trees and all of that. So there's that. There's also your townhouse condo situation.
My parents live in one.
We've got some for sale right now. The Gale Group has some for sale on Spitfire.
But
you've got your main floor living. There's most
laundry
often
in the main floor.
Yeah, there's most often a finished basement or a basement as well. But again, the main floor living.
You're Brantford Paris, correct?
I'm Brantford Paris.
Yeah, so where my parents live was built by Van L, who has projects in Brantford and Paris all over the place.
Yeah.
So the laundry's always on the main floor. 11 to 1,500 square feet, always an attached garage, single or double. If you still have 2 drivers, there's still double garage options available. And then, so those are, like Lakeview, Spitfire, Lorraine Street, Heron's Landing, like those are all projects very popular in Woodstock for condo one floor kind of townhouse attached living.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've also explored some communities more recently. I think it's Sally Ridge here in
Sally Creek.
Oh, sorry,
Yep.
Sally Creek here in Woodstock that has your it's a 55
and over,
plus community, and it has your local community center that you're a member of as well there. Hickory Hills, I think, in Tilsonburg is one. There's a similar type community in New Hamburg, which we're going a little bit further, but
I mean, it's probably across the board of all cities will have their pockets of
absolutely. So you've got those options as well, where you have a very active lifestyle and membership within your own community. And then I mentioned earlier Southridge here in Woodstock. That's not a part of a 55 plus community, but it's very centered on 55 plus.
And we do have some condo apartments. So if you still want to own something, but like you're more really like even less than a condo townhouse, you're just more of an apartment, but you own it. You can lock the door and leave, and you know, various things included or not included, but still like less money. So if you know, budget's a thing, that might be an option too. If you still wanted to own something, it's there.
Yeah, Woodstock has a lot of condo apartments available right now. Brantford Brant as well.
Yep.
And then your next option outside of, I mean, there's plenty of options, but the next obvious option outside of a retirement community would be moving to an apartment. And I have worked with a lot of clients who prefer that, prefer to just move into a rental for while they travel.
And because we're super smart, we're segueing this whole thing into this house.
Yes.
So talk about this house as an option as a right sizing house, which, you know, if we look at this big grand stairway and we've got some levels and different bedrooms on different levels, but this is a downsizing option because why?
Yes, this is a downsizing option because the lower level of this home has an incredible an incredible apartment, a one bedroom apartment, and it's got its own separate walkout. So
it's nice and bright.
If you're looking to downsize, yes. Oh gosh,
like it's like
down there.
I'm saying it's like it's a basement apartment, but it's a walkout lot, so it's bright. Windows are big, sliding doors. Are huge. You don't even know you're in the basement.
It's really not. It's really not basement living. It's a lower level, but it's not basement living. And also exciting because you can move in with mom and dad and have this incredible
have
space
mom
on the
cook for you all the time.
Maybe mom will cook for you.
And I mean, with provincial rules kind of loosening on basement apartments, that can be an option, right? So if depending on family dynamics and whatever, like if mom and dad sell, they can maybe buy into doing a basement apartment and helping out, and if everybody gets along, it's a good option. Maybe not for some people, but for a lot of people, it's great, and they can have a built-in babysitter.
Absolutely. I think that it's an incredible option for a lot of families, and it's often an option that you don't really think about because in this day and age, and in the family structure that we have here in Canada, there's a lot of independence. And you can still have your independence. That's why it's a separate suite, right? But it is definitely worth considering, and having a built-in babysitter, like my kids are older now, I don't need to worry about that, but good golly, when they were young, it would have been so wonderful to have parents close by. Yeah,
for sure. So 409 Soam Street.
Yes.
We've got a full basement apartment option. We've got lots of bedrooms, lots of class, elegance, great house. Come see me or Ruby. It's our listing.
This is a perfect solution for multi-generational family living because it's also got like the main floor master here. So if you've got older kids as well that don't want to be, that want to be on the main level. But come see us, reach out if you're curious about this. There's lots of options similar to this, but this I think is an incredible home.
Was this as bad as you thought it was going to be? Ruby this is her first podcast on the channel. She was really nervous. She had all these notes. They're down on the ground. She had all these notes planned for the answers. That's the questions that she prompted me on that I only really smattered on.
Oh, gosh. And then you asked these like out of the blue questions. I was like,
I told you. Hey man.
I didn't research that.
You got to do it. But you're great. Good stuff.
Yeah. No,
Bye.
it was not awful. It was not
No,
awful.
good. Till next time. See
Till
ya.
next time.